Well, there's no simple way to answer that because the call into ministry didn't come to me wrapped in a perfect package. It came through the fire. I didn't grow up imagining I'd be in ministry. I wasn't the person always on a stage or the one that people prophesied to over every service. In fact, there was a time I thought ministry belonged to a specific group of people. Men in suits behind pulpits, pastors with degrees, and women who had it all together. And that wasn't me. I was the one who had been through deep pain, private struggles, and seasons of feeling overlooked and unqualified. But it was in that place, right in the middle of the mess, that God interrupted everything. There was a defining moment, one that shifted my course of life. I was sitting in complete stillness after a long stretch of wrestling with God. Wrestling with disappointment, shame, fear, and the sense that maybe I had missed it on life. I didn't feel ready for anything, let alone ministry. And then the Lord spoke to me so clearly, so gently, but with fire. He said, "Joanna, you are so much more than a wife and mother." That moment felt like everything inside of me stood still. I didn't even know what he meant at the time, but something in my spirit leapt. Something was ignited, and from that moment forward, I couldn't unhear it. I couldn't go back to business as usual. I wasn't the same. But even though that was a defining moment, the actual walking into ministry was a gradual unfolding. It wasn't like God dropped a microphone in my hand the next day. What followed was a deep process of pruning, purification, and preparation. What God spoke to me in secret, he began to confirm over time through signs, through his word, and through dreams and visions. There was a hunger that I had never felt before. I started waking up with this intense desire to be with him, not to do ministry, but to know him. I would get lost in his word, in worship, and in prayer. I didn't realize it at the time, but God was rebuilding me from the inside out. He was shifting my identity, removing old labels, healing old wounds, and teaching me how to walk as a daughter before a leader. See, we always talk about the call, but we rarely talk about the cost. God began to show me that he wasn't just calling me to stand on a stage. He was calling me to carry his heart, to be a vessel. And vessels have to be empty. They have to be surrendered and willing to be filled with him alone. That meant going through a crushing. He started pulling things out of me, fear of man, pride, comparison, insecurity. He began to deal with things that I didn't even know were there. And let me be honest, it didn't feel like a promotion. It felt like a funeral. But what I thought was the death of my dreams was actually the birthing of his assignment. I remember crying out to God during this hidden season, asking, "Lord, why do I feel this fire on the inside of me, but I have no outlet for it?" And I heard him whisper, "I'm not trying to light a fire. I'm trying to build an altar." And that altar was my life. So the calling wasn't confirmed by applause. It was confirmed by fire. The fire that purifies, the fire that refines, the fire that makes you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Eventually, as I obeyed, he started giving me opportunities, small ones at first, teaching Bible study in nursing homes and assisted living homes, a mentorship call, a prayer night, worship night. I poured my heart out like it was a stadium because I wasn't chasing crowds. I was chasing obedience. And let me tell you, when obedience becomes your pursuit, anointing follows. People began to be delivered, healed, and set free, not because I had a seminary degree, but because I carried the evidence of the secret place. So yes, it started with a moment, but that moment had to be stewarded. I had to sit with it, let it work in me before it could work through me. And even now, I don't walk in ministry because I feel ready. I walk in it because I said yes. And if I can be honest, I still feel the weight of that yes every single day. The call hasn't gotten lighter, but my capacity has grown. Because every time I say yes again, he deepens the oil. He expands the assignment. He reminds me, you weren't called to do ministry. You were called to die to yourself and carry me wherever I send you. So the answer is, it was a moment and a process. It was a burning bush and the wilderness, and it still is. Because the call isn't a destination. It's a daily surrender. That's how I knew God was calling me into ministry.